Very good morning to all. Sanskriti School of Business, Puttaparthi. Welcome you all to an interesting session on courage and resilience during COVID challenge. Today's speaker for the session is Ms. Sulekha Chandra. She is a founder Gyan Paradise. Let me take you through her profile. Sulekha Chandra being the founder Gyan Paradise, being having a mission to create emotionally intelligent organizations and individuals, she has transformed around 17,000 people with her mission. She is an award-winning entrepreneur, emotional intelligence coach, corporate trainer, research scholar who has completed her research in emotional intelligence in entrepreneurship. She is an editor, co-author, speaker, advisory board member. She is a committee member in the Forum of Emotional Intelligence Learning India. She is an advisory board member in Amity International Journal of Organizational Happiness. She is a member in Navi Mumbai Chambers of Commerce and Industries, NMCBI. She is senior visiting faculty for mass communications, Siam Edu Tilak Maharashtra University. She co-authored 6 books with Spark Publications, launched by eminent personalities like Dr. Kiran Bedi and Sri Ravishankar. She is chairperson of Brain Behavior Research Foundation of India. She co-authored a book on leadership excellence and which is waiting for release in July 2021. Her paper Role of Neuroscience in Professional Success was published in FEIL Compendium 2020, honored by HBR, FEIL, and IIPA. Her paper Business Competencies During COVID, Selected Case Studies was published in JJTU 2020. Her paper Neuro Entrepreneurship, Selected Case Studies is in progress for publication by FEIL. She has received many awards and recognitions, a few which she has acquired in the recent past. Atmanirbhar Bharat Award by Indian Achievers Forum 2021 Women Achiever, Dasu Umenia Award 2020, Niti Aayog and Safe Job Positivity Honor 2019, Brain Behavior Research Foundation of India, DNA FPH winner in Life Award 2019 nominee, and she is one among the 51 most influential women in Mumbai, organized by Bridge Bully Foundation. She was guest of honor 2020 NES Startup Fest, Ratnam College, Mumbai. With this brief introduction of her, I would like to hand over session to Ms. Sulekha to enlighten the audience on how they can strong and strengthen themselves during the COVID times. Over to you, Sulekha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bala Koteshwari. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here with SSP Group. It's really a prestigious institution, and my reverence, my deep reverence to the land of Puttaparthi, the land of Sai Satya Baba. And to all the members who are here, all the student participants, I welcome you to this session. And let's start. And we are going to talk about courage and resilience. I'm sure all of us know what is courage, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to enable the chat. I hope everyone can chat here. Dr. Bala Koteswari, I hope everybody can send their responses to me on chat.
Yes, I'll ensure I'll inform the admin to enable that. Thank you.
Yes, please. I would like to have this as an interactive session.
Sure.
And soon after, I will enable my share screen. Okay, shall I go ahead?
Yes, please. Yes, Sulekha, please.
Okay, dear all students, I give you 15 seconds. Please type yes if you know what is courage. "15 seconds. You just need to type yes if you know what is meant by courage. Yes, time is over. Okay. So we have, all right. I just said you have to type yes if you know what is courage. Thank you. So we have around 10-15 people who mentioned yes. Somebody mentions courage means the ability to do something bravely. Yes. Hima Kumar, strength in the face of pain. Yes. Very nice. Cool. So we all have this idea what is courage, right? Okay. So now I would like all of you to write 3 words, just 3 words that come to your mind when you think of courage. I give you 30 seconds. Write 3 words. All of you can write 3 words each. Words that you associate with courage. Let's see the responses. Dare, confident, brave. A. Murati. Okay. Praveen, fearless. Hima Kumar, danger, fear. Okay. Srisha, ability, brave, confidence. Monica, boldness, brave, fear. Okay. Kiran, ability to do anything, confidence, strength, bravery, confidence. Okay. Potentiality to face any situation with confidence. Okay. Again, Sri Kanya, brave, confidence, fearless. Facing every problem bravely and confidently. Beautiful, dareness. Upendra saying fear, dareness. Okay. Lakshmi, determination, fearlessness. Awesome. Awesome. Give yourself a round of applause, a virtual applause to all of you for coming up with wonderful words related to courage that come to your mind. Can we have few cameras enabled? At least 5 cameras enabled. Let's see who can enable their cameras. Okay. Mr. Hema Kumar. And
good morning.
can we have at least 5 people enabling their cameras? Okay. Miss Sri Kanya. Sri Kanya, you switched off again. Mr. Upendra. Sai Kishore. Welcome back, Sri Kanya. Okay, still we have only 3 people on the camera. I have asked at least for 5. We have 139 people here. Okay, let's see. All right. So Shrivani, Sai Kishore, B. Lokesh, Sai Kiran. I think Sai Kiran is somewhere outside but still attending the session. Beautiful. All right, great. Srini. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. So today, all of you who just switched on their cameras, I just said only 5, but still there were some more people who switched on their cameras. You have shown some courage. Yes or not? You have shown some courage.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the rest of the people?
Yes, ma'am.
We have 139 people here, 141 right now. Okay. So means when we are in the virtual world, we also need to show some courage to come in front of the camera. Right? Do you see this difference
Yes,
right
ma'am.
here? Yeah? But I'm very happy that all of you have come with many more Beautiful words, fearless, grit, daring, being strong and confident. These words have come out very often. Now, today's session is focused on let's get a deeper understanding about courage. Okay, deeper understanding. After going through certain pictures, I will take you through certain stories and certain pictures. And after that, I will look forward to hear your stories as well. So, definitely, your courage is under check. All right? So, let's start. Ms. Balakoteshwari, can I please enable my screen share?
Yes, I think it is done by the admin.
It is enabled? Okay.
Yeah, you can try. If you are not able to, I will ask my admin again.
All right, all right. Uh-huh. Thank you, guys. And I give a virtual applause to all of you who have enabled their cameras. So let's start with the screen share, and I would take you through an interesting journey of courage and getting a deeper understanding about it. Are you all able to watch the screen?
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
put it into the slideshow mode. I hope it is visible.
Yes.
For your no, all right. People should enable mics and they say no, maybe. And also, if I'm not able to see right now while I'm delivering this lecture, I may not be able to see the chat box. But then you can enable your mics and you can answer me yes or no. All right. But that should not lead to chaos.
Ma'am.
Can ensure that. So this picture right in front of you, I chose this picture to also conveying
That girl, ma'am. She was
beautiful, beautiful.
facing the enemy.
Exactly. Okay, so Upendra is talking, right? Okay, and guys, is there a way? Can someone read these definitions for me? What is courage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let Hema Kumar. Okay, Upendra. Upendra, please read it out.
Okay, ma'am. What is the ability to do something that frightens one? Bravery. Second, strength in the
This is a
face
simple, dictionary meaning of it. Okay, simple dictionary meaning. The ones that you wrote. Yeah.
strength in the face
Go
of pain or
Sorry. So, for example, when some children, when we send them to boarding schools, do you see them as different personalities? People have grown in boarding schools, or people who go to join NDA at an early age, defense academies. Do you see some difference in them
yes, ma'am.
in terms of their personality? How they behave, how they project their body language, how they project their thoughts. Have you noticed any of these people in your ask them? They behave differently, they think differently. And if somebody talks about fear, they might tell you words like, I don't know what is fear. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, let's go ahead. When we talk about the rare moments of conscience, fear, and action, we will see these definitions coming alive in the stories that are going to come up and also the pictures that are going to come up with this. Kumar, read this.
Ma'am, it's not visible. No visible.
Anybody else? Right?
Permission and impulse.
Mhm.
Next one, being right, disease,
Mhm.
acceptable conditions. Next
Mhm.
one, choosing self-respect.
Your works. Do the right despite the fright. No, the virus can attack them. But are they still doing the right thing by being there in the hospitals?
Yes, ma'am.
They are doing the right thing. Means they uphold this value based action. Do they complain? Do they complain?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am. They don't complain,
No,
ma'am,
ma'am.
They don't
because
complain.
Means
they are
yes,
only now.
Because it's their
exactly.
responsibility and duty, ma'am.
Beautiful. They are
They are only
showing
God's.
uncomplaining acceptance of unendurable conditions. Lot of people, lot of paramedical staff, they are undergoing disgusting situations, but they are enduring that disgust. What is endurance? You know you're suffering, but you are keeping patience. You know you're suffering, but you are keeping patience because you have a conviction that this suffering will end one day. And you continue without any complaints, right? You choose
Yes,
self
ma'am.
Yes,
respect.
ma'am.
You choose self
Respect.
respect. Do you remember just last year itself, 2020? Sadhguru, all of us know Sadhguru?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
There was a team of doctors from AIMS, Delhi. They had a conference with Sadhguru and they were complaining. They said that time that Sadhguru, look at how people are behaving with us. And isn't it disgusting to see that some people are behaving rudely with the doctors? What is your message for them? And that time, Sadhguru told them that we know that we should choose self respect over everything. But right now, this is the time when you should know that 99% of nation is with you. There might be this 1% of people who are showing this kind of behavior, but 99% of people are with you. They admire you. They look at you as next to God who can save their life. This one sentence from Sadhguru calmed them down and they continued. Because doctors, at the end of the day, they are also human beings, isn't it?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
also feel disgust. They want to express that. And that forum was a way of expression. It was a vent out, which was quite addressed very well by Sadhguru, isn't it? That time Sadhguru was representing the nation, telling them 99% of people are with you. So this is how they show grace under pressure. They are all under pressure, but they show grace. And isn't this something that we all must learn from? Right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
there is no gyan coming over here. We all know this. But what happens is it doesn't come to our realization. Sometimes we grow immune even to the positive words. When there is positivity talk everywhere, sometimes we think, oh no, this is again a gyan talk. Come on, I know this. So but there's a difference between knowing and realizing it, being in your conscience, you working consciously on it. Let's go through some more definitions which I took from the texts of Buddhism. Can somebody read it? Lokesh? Yeah, Lokesh, would you please read it?
Ma'am.
Mr. B. Lokesh?
Ma'am.
Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay, is there somebody else who is able to see the screen?
Ma'am, can I, ma'am?
Visible, ma'am.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Developing the quality of courage is essential to achieving anything in our lives. Courage is
In our
required
lives.
before we can take action in any endeavor, and it is courageous people in every field who tend to achieve their goals and realize their dreams. Courage, however, is not always heroic action in a time of danger. It can consist of the persistent, unglamorous effort to do what we feel is right. In, in Buddhism, courage of fearlessness is highly valued. In one of his letters, Nichiren, the 13th century founder of the Buddhism practiced by members of the SGI, urged his followers, "You should not have the slightest fear in
Lightest?
your heart. It is it
Lack of
is
courage that prevents
lack
one
of
from
courage
attaining
that prevents one from
Buddhahood.
attaining Buddhahood."
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Your name is B.S. Rikanya?
Yes,
Did I read it properly? B.
Sri
Shrikanya?
Kanya, ma'am. Yes,
Shrikanya?
ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Shrikanya. Wonderful. We need to take notice of certain words here. You know, when we say courage is essential to achieving anything in our lives, and it is required to take action in any endeavor. Whenever we talk of he didn't have the courage to speak the truth. He didn't have the courage to stand for himself. He didn't have the courage to pursue his goals. He didn't have the courage to. Now you understand? He didn't have the courage to, or she didn't have the courage to. And then it goes on. There are so many things that we talk with regards to courage, isn't it? And we use this word so oftenly. And right now, when we are talking about tend to achieve their goals and realize their dreams, tend to, this word has to be noticed. All of you, your MBA students, your teachers, your professors must be noticing this word tend to. Who is the student who tends to fulfill all the assignments in time? Who is the student who tends to attend all the conferences? So when we say this word tends to, the means you are showing a pattern of your behavior which is consistent with your actions, with your thoughts. Okay? And say, for example, when you come daily to the school or when you are attending daily the conferences, is there something glamorous about it? There's nothing glamorous about it. This is an unglamorous effort, but this is a persistent effort. This speaks volumes about your courage. Means there are so many students every day who choose not to attend or who choose to be there and put on their cameras off and maybe just do something else and keep their cameras off and attend some other work. But can that be called as a courage?
No,
Not really. That cannot be called as courage, because courage has to be something which leads to a constructive action, a constructive result. For your institution, you not attending or you attending without attention is not courage. Is this clear? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And courage is closely linked with conviction. When do you think this conviction comes into us? Conviction comes into us, for example, if your teacher or your professor speaks to another professor and talks about Ramya Shri and says, Ramya Shri is going to top the merit list this time. You know, when a professor talks like this to another professor and conveys his views, I'm sure that Ramya Shri is going to top the list this time, merit list this time. It means the professor is showing some conviction in Ramya Shri. Why? Where from did this conviction come? This conviction came from the behavior, a consistent behavior that Ramya Shri might have displayed over a period of 1 year. Or if not 1 year, maybe some 6 months period, which is a considerable amount of time. If you show, you know, a name of consistency, if you, for the sake of consistency, if you feel that you want to attend a conference and you come for, 3 days continuous, would that be, called as consistency? If you come for 3 days continuous, that cannot be called as consistency. It has to have a good period of time to support so that it can generate a pattern, a behavior that someone else can feel conviction about. Is this clear? Any questions over this?
No, ma'am.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I hope this is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? So just attending for few days is not conviction. And guys, this is not only about college or institution. This happens in organizations as well. You know, when we talk about attrition and, when you will join big organizations, I'm sure all of you will definitely be in big organizations and you will contribute completely, to the full of your capacity. But mind it that this happens there as well. And that is when management interferes and they take a course of action so that they can build this kind of persistence in the employees. But how beautiful will it be if all the employees who join show this behavior in advance? Will that not be good? Will that not eliminate so-called favoritism or what we call as office politics? When you join big organizations, people usually talk about these things. I'm facing office politics. That's why I want to leave this concern. This place is just not meant for me. Whenever these kind of questions come to your mind, that is the time to ask a question to yourself. Am I showing the right behavior? Am I being persistent? Even though I feel I'm suffering in this moment, am I showing endurance? Okay? Now comes the interesting part. I would like all of you to take notice of this wheel. Is this wheel completely visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
This is the circle of courage. And let me tell all of you that courage is what drives emotional intelligence. If you see any of these skills, you will see that an emotionally intelligent person displays all these skills. Because courage is an emotional competency. An emotional competency. Courage is an emotional competency. Now, can somebody read these 4 quadrants? Independence, generosity, belonging, and mastery.
I'll read it, ma'am.
Can somebody read independence?
Ma'am, this is Srinath, ma'am. I'll read it, ma'am. I'm Srinath, ma'am.
Mr. Srinath?
Ma'am, I'll read this 4 columns, ma'am. 4
All right.
parts.
Beautiful, yes. Go ahead.
Generosity, support, pro-social, empathy, loyalty, sharing, caring, and altruism. And belonging, it comes to belonging, attachment, loving, friendship, intimacy, gregarious, and cooperative, trust. And comes to mastery, achievement, success, creativity, problem solving, motivation, persistence, and competence. And when it comes to independence, is autonomy, confidence, assertiveness, responsibility, inner control, self-discipline, leadership. Ma'am, I'm having more questions.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
Srinath. A virtual applause to you.
Ma'am, I'm
A
having some
virtual
doubts,
applause to
ma'am.
you.
I'm having some doubts, ma'am. In this, which one is the first
Yes,
thing,
please tell
ma'am?
me.
In four things, which one is the first thing, ma'am? Whether this is for independence is first
There
or
is
general.
nothing called as first thing.
Now these four,
Independence, generosity, and belongingness.
these four
All
things
these
are all
together lead
unbalanced,
you
ma'am.
to mastery.
Ma'am, these four things are now unbalanced in people's life, ma'am. Totally unbalanced, ma'am.
Yes, you're right. You're right. These things are unbalanced in people's lives. Not
Yes, ma'am.
everybody holds every competency. See, in emotional intelligence, there have been 13 major competencies which have been recognized that every leader, every top notch leader, irrespective of gender, they have to show those 13 competencies. But in a usual scenario, any regular person shows maximum 5 to 7 competencies. So rest of the competencies they have to continually keep working on, because every competency that you develop will have stages. Will have
Ma'am,
stages.
one
You'll
doubt,
first
ma'am.
develop it.
Ma'am, when it comes to belonging, no, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to belonging, ma'am, today husband and wife relationship are broken because of lot of material desires, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
If they stayed united as pure hearts, means they can fight the battle, ma'am. They can
Mm-hmm.
attain generosity, independence, and mastery, ma'am. With pure
Mm-hmm.
hearts, ma'am. Both husband and wife caring for each other, but
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, because of the material desires, husband and wife relationships are broken, ma'am. Divorce.
See, my dear Srinath, you have raised a question. When relationships are breaking, all that they need is this kind of education. Sometimes in relationship there is something called to be endurance. Means maybe you suffer for some time, maybe because of somebody's habits. Sometimes in relationship you suffer because of ideologies, difference in the ideologies. You suffer maybe because of the difference in habits. Sometimes you don't like habits that the other person have. Even people raise issues about different food habits, different cuisines, as simple as that. But all these things, if we keep apart, if we think of the word endurance, that has to give you courage. See, when we talk about education, education simply does not mean you graduating, you completing your degrees, you getting a good job. It has been a lot of research is there which shows that CEOs, when they have been asked these questions, are you happy? CEOs have mentioned no. Why do you think they mentioned this answer as no? Because they didn't have the courage to cultivate certain other kind of courages. Now let us focus on how we can develop this courage. First, let us witness it. Okay, in some of the pictures that will come up, and then
Ma'am,
I will ask certain
education,
questions.
ma'am. Before 10,000 and 15,000 years ago, education was perfect, ma'am. Now there are many lack of due to ignorance, ma'am. Our ancient time education is perfect, ma'am. And now it is due to ignorance, ma'am. Full of ignorance. Yes, ma'am.
Srinath, I value your thoughts, and this effort is all about connecting ourselves to our roots as human beings, what we already have, so that we can utilize that capacity to maximum. And when we go ahead with the examples, I'm sure you will love these examples and you will cultivate this thing in your life. All right, these are the types of courage. So, major types of courage have been defined as physical, emotional, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social. Now, I will show you certain pictures. Okay. And after going through the pictures, I want you all to type in the chat box. First, read these types and then type in the chat box what kind of courage do you see in that picture. There can be multiple courages as well. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, if you see this picture of a nurse, what kind of courage do you see? Yes, quickly. We have a
Ma'am, I
limited
would say
time.
spiritual, ma'am.
Spiritual and
Also the emotional, ma'am.
yes, good. And come on, we have 119 people here. Isn't she showing the physical courage as well? Physical, emotional, spiritual. She's also showing intellectual courage because a nurse without intellect can she be there? Right? She cannot be there. So intellectual courage is also required. Social courage, she understands her social responsibility. So social courage is also there. Okay, all of you, I'm sure all of you are fond of movies. Has anybody seen this movie called Togo? Anybody? No?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me tell you the story of this movie in brief. And it is very relevant to what is happening right now, the COVID situation. Togo is the name of a dog, and this is a true story. In Alaska, there is this small city called as Nome, and an epidemic had happened in 1925, and children were dying at a rapid pace. And it was winter setting in. Can we have the mic switched off, please? Muted, please. I'm getting some background noise. Okay, so what happened in Nome when this epidemic broke out and a lot of children were dying? That time the winter was also setting in. So the weather conditions were so adverse that no help from outside could have reached that small town. So there was this person, Sepala, who used to lead this sled dogs team. He had this dog Togo. He trusted the fire in this dog so much. He trusted his love so much that he was the person who saved Nome at that point in time. With the help of this dog, he crossed the ocean, the frozen ocean, almost 420 kilometers, and came back when the ocean ice was breaking. And this dog still made it back. He saved all the dogs and he saved his master as well. When you see this movie, you get moved with the courage that has been displayed by the master and the dog. And they saved the town. Now, if I ask you, look at this picture, what all kinds of courage are they displaying? They're displaying physical courage, minus 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah?
Emotional, ma'am.
Yes, Srinath?
Emotional, ma'am.
Emotional. Yes. Social courage. They're doing it for a cause. They want to save the children.
For the animal has an emotional courage, ma'am.
Exactly.
Physical and emotional
and
courage.
This emotion of faith, spiritual courage that was there, can this faith be seen? Can the love of the dog for the master be seen? It can only be felt. And the master knew it, that the dog can die for him. He knew it. And that's why he took this risk of crossing the ocean, the frozen ocean, so that the vaccine could be brought in the least amount of time as possible. I would urge all of you to watch this movie during these pandemic times. It will give you a lot of courage.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, great. All of us know Dalai Lama. Yes, here is a book, The Force for Good, written by none other than Daniel Goleman, who is the master of emotional intelligence. And do we know the story of exile of Dalai Lama? Dalai Lama, when he was declared that he is the leader, the 14th Dalai Lama, and when China attacked Tibet and they were destroying the monasteries, that time Dalai Lama's teachers told him one thing. Those days they made him memorize the scriptures like anything and told him one thing before he left in disguise, that you have to recite these scriptures every single day because they will survive now only in your mind, in your memory. You are the leader, so you have to protect yourself so that the people trust you. They know that you will seek help. They all want you to be alive. And that is when India welcomed him, and that is how Dalai Lama started his journey. One day, Daniel Goleman asked him, I want to study how is it that you monks don't fear at all. You don't have any fear in your heart. You don't get angry. And that time, Dalai Lama told him, instead of studying how we don't get angry, and instead of studying how we are not fearful, why don't you study kindness and compassion? And that is when Daniel Goleman took this study up, and he invited a group of monks for his study to understand what happens in their brains when they are meditating, and why is it that, and how does this meditation transform in an environment in their mind that they don't fear anything, they don't get angry. Okay, so these are the words I would like to read for you. Biography, he says that the young leader have changed into disguise. Read the scriptures, acutely taking note of an extract about the need of focus on bravery and confidence. Doesn't it show us the spiritual courage of Dalai Lama? The intellectual courage when he had to memorize all the scriptures at an early age? Doesn't it show the emotional courage that connect with the people, that he has to save himself so that a greater good can happen to Tibet? Let's move on to the next story. Do you identify what this mountain could be? This is the highest battlefield of the world, the Siachen Glacier.
Mount Everest, ma'am.
This I have taken from Indian Express, this picture. And it says, every day is a story. Army officers recall their time at Siachen Glacier, the highest battlefield in the world. Enemy is not so much an entity holding rifles and guns. It is nature, the isolation of your body and mind. Imagine people, how well they get trained. Bravery training is given. Bravery is cultivated in defense. And that is what enables them to survive these temperatures, survive these heights, survives the circumstances, the isolation of body and mind. This is how they practice bravery. Have you ever heard of this lady called Julia Butterfly Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
She is a remarkable activist who saved a 1,000-year-old tree, a redwood tree in California, by staying on the tree for more than 2 years. She was widely covered by media, and she wanted a group of, there was a group of environmental activists, and their name was Earth First. And this group of activists was staying on this tree. There was a makeshift arrangement and they were staying on the tree. But what happened one day, one by one, the activists started getting off the tree. They could not survive over there. But Julia was the only one left. She endured all kinds of weather, all kinds of threat which were created by the lumber loggers who used to come and cut the trees in the forest. They even threatened her by, hovering a helicopter over the tree. But she did not give up. She continued to stay there for 738 days. And this was widely covered by media. I would definitely like all of you to go through her story. Didn't she, show up the physical courage? Yes, the physical courage, the emotional courage, she was attached with the tree. The intellectual courage, how to survive within that environment. And it was a continuous training that was happening right there. She had never lived on a tree before, but all her training happened right there in the tree. And that is what is happening in the COVID right now. We never seen this kind of situation before, but our training is happening right now. If I want to give you my example, when I was your age, maybe I was in the first year of my college, and I caught paralysis. It was cerebral malaria. And the paralysis continued for 3 years. Imagine me sitting at one place for 3 years. Today, when you see me, does it come to you, does it strike to your mind that I would have been through this? Does it strike to your mind? But when I, look back at times, I feel that this COVID time is not much of an isolation. Maybe because my training happened earlier. I spent 3 years just by sitting at one place. Okay, I move on. See this lady, I have taken this picture from NASA. She is Christina Koch, who has the record of the longest space mission for women. And she says that living on an international space station is like living in a fish bowl, because that means getting comfortable with making mistakes on camera, like losing things to gravity. Isn't this courage? Intellectual courage, physical courage, social courage, because there is a cause why we are doing it. Yes? Isn't she showing emotional courage? She has 2 small kids, but she's there. Isn't she showing emotional courage?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this kind of courage we see today. I have a friend who has volunteered for, cremating the dead bodies of people, who have not been claimed by any of their family members. He visits the hospital. Hospital tells him that for so many days nobody has claimed this body. So he goes and cremates them. Isn't that courage that is being displayed during COVID?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes you don't have anyone around you, and there are just doctors or nurses who are there for each other and trying to tell them this will be over, this will pass soon. When we look at Paralympics, there are so many people who are special, with special abilities. But look at these people who make it to Paralympics. Doesn't it take a lot of physical courage? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Lot of emotional courage as well. They want to prove to themselves. We all know about Jhansi Ki Rani. She stands out for me because as a mother, she dared to have her child tied to her body behind and enter the battlefield. That is how her courage stands out at all given points in time in the history. Do you recognize this? All of
Yes,
us?
ma'am.
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Kiran Bedi.
Yes, ma'am.
This picture became so very famous. I had an opportunity to meet her, to hug her, and she's so warm, she's so open. When I asked her, in just a brief interaction, that you have seen so many places in India, did you ever feel that you wanted to be at one place and you didn't want to go to so many other places? You wanted some stability. She said, for stability to me means being stable in my mind. And that stability means my purpose, my meaning. Where is it that I can contribute? I can contribute everywhere in any part of the nation. So it does not matter whether I am placed in Delhi or placed in Pondicherry, it does not matter. Wherever I am, I will do good to the people. I will do good to the society. And that is all what is meaningful to me. And she's the one who cleared the way for hundreds of women for IPS officers. She installed a dream in us, isn't it? And she displays all sorts of courage. Now I want you to know some neuroscience facts. You know, guys, there are something called as bravery neurons in our brain. And bravery neurons, they fire when there is a situation or maybe a stimulation. Okay? And when they fire, a person shows a behavior called as fearlessness. This kind of fearlessness you can see in people who go for skydiving, who go for bungee jumping, who go for the sky rope. Have you seen all those people? They reach the heights. They don't fear the heights. Have you seen them?
Yes, ma'am.
We have witnessed so many of them. And some of them already have these bravery neurons activated and they fire each time they practice bravery. And even in our defense people, the bravery neurons keep firing because they practice bravery. But in our normal daily life, do we practice bravery?
No, ma'am.
We don't practice. So if at all you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want to practice? Which courage do I want to practice? You should name that. You should identify it for yourself. Protein, which is present in a gene, SMN gene, okay, in our brain, and it was seen in an experiment that, as you know, all the experiments are first conducted on mouse, and then it was seen that this protein, if it taken out, because this is the protein which feeds amygdala. It is a part of the brain which is responsible for fear and anxiousness. And if this protein is taken out, the brain goes fearless. It does not identify fear, and any of the situations which are associated with fear means it generate a memory. Even if it is a fearful situation, it will memory. But if protein is removed,
Ma'am,
okay.
excuse me, ma'am. Voice is not clear, ma'am.
Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, great. Does this sound interesting? These neuroscience facts? Do they sound interesting to know? And if this protein is removed, a person goes fearless. But now let me ask you something. Although all these neuroscientific truths are there, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Bhavna. So I want to ask all of you. Sometimes in our youth, we witness people who encourage certain actions and say, "Come on, don't be a chicken. Have some courage." Maybe somebody is asking you to adopt a habit which is not good for you, but they ask you, "Don't be a chicken. Show some courage." Do you think that is courage in that moment?
No, ma'am.
That's not courage. Because courage always has to be virtuous, it has to lead you to a virtuous result. And if something is wrong, maybe some person goes and slaps somebody, and another people say that, "Oh God, this was so courageous of you." No, that is not courage. Unless and until, in some moment it was required, unless and until there was a positive or constructive result expected out of it. Okay? So in those moments, for example, we go and we cross a signal, although it is a red signal, and we cross it. Does it show courage? No. In middle of a heavy traffic and you zoom your car, is that courage? No, that is not courage. It's not leading to a good result. It's not leading to a good action. It cannot be called as courage. So I want all of you to identify courage in real sense. One more thing, a neuroscientific fact that we call about theta waves. Theta waves are released in our brain when we are in a deep relaxation meditation. Okay, deep relaxed state of meditation. And theta waves are also emitted, in a situation when people feel fearless, mainly people who practice bravery. For them, theta waves are always active. And for people, the rest of us, theta waves are not so active. They can be activated, but with deep meditation. And I give you one more neuroscientific fact. What is called as size effect? Size effect is a relationship in research. It's a relationship between variables. For example, the variable is meditation, and it is relationship with depression, pain, okay, anxiousness, anxiety. The size effect that was noticed between meditation and depression, anxiety, and pain, it was found out it was 0.3. 0.3. You might feel it's a very small number, but you know what? When we go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, when they give you that antidepressant, that antidepressant also has a size effect of 0.3. What I want to convey here is, before a person reaches that state of anxiousness, it can be avoided with a constant practice of mindfulness meditation. It can be avoided. You can activate those theta waves. You can practice bravery by avoiding impulses. Okay? I'm not saying that we are all every time in a bravery situation, but you can cultivate bravery to some extent. Right? And there are very simple things that you can do. Like whenever you feel some anxiousness in your mind, ask yourself, try to label your emotion. What is it that I'm feeling right now? Try to name your emotion. Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling grief? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling upset? Just frustrated? Disappointed? Am I feeling disgusted? Okay? Am I feeling impatient? Try to label your emotions. There is a good wheel of emotions that you can find. Try to refer to that wheel and try to label yourself. And I will show you certain exercises. Can we have some of the cameras on so that you can see these exercises and I can see whether you have practiced it properly? Can we have some cameras on? And I would like somebody to, practice these exercises, a few exercises for all of you. Whenever you
Ma'am.
feel anxious and you feel that this feeling is insurmountable, you cannot control it, do this. This is the first one, okay? First one is just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then try to move your head in small circles with the speed which is just comfortable to you, okay? In small circles like this. Can somebody perform it for me? Yes, Srinath? I want your observation.
Yes, ma'am.
Try to move your head 3 times clockwise. Yes. You have to move your entire neck like this. Your neck should move like this. Okay.
Ma'am, I'm feeling
Now
a
I have a
little
question.
discomfort, ma'am. Ma'am, I can't take the deep breath, ma'am. The deep breath I can able to take, ma'am. And another thing, what you told about meditation, no, ma'am. Ma'am, meditation is different. Silent sitting is different, no, ma'am.
This is simple exercise. What you can it is for relieving yourself of immediate anxiety. Okay? This is
Yes,
not
ma'am.
meditation. I'm not teaching meditation right now. I'm giving you simple exercises of relieving yourself when you feel an immediate need. I want to ask you, while you were moving your head, were you thinking something?
Ma'am, I can't able to move the. I can't able to take the deep breath, ma'am.
You have to release the breath. It's just like breathe like a baby. Simple.
And release.
And then move your head. Okay? But while
Okay.
you're moving your head, you will observe that you're not able to think anything. That is the point I want to make. While you move your head in circles, 1, 2, and 3, you will observe that you are not able to think in that moment. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not able to think. Number 2, give a fake smile to yourself. Can you all give me a fake smile right away? Yes, show me your teeth. Come on. Yes. Can some more people have their cameras on? Show some courage. Yes. Show me a fake smile. Right now, there is no sadness in this moment, isn't it? We can simply smile. Does it take lot of effort? Does it take a lot of effort? I want to ask all of you. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Yes, Priyanka, Anusha, can we have your cameras on? I would like to see your smiles. Yes, Priyanka, Shrikanya. Show me your smile. Does it cost much?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
So smiling is not a difficult thing, but many people find it difficult. If you want to practice smiling, because smiling is a quick way of tricking your brain. It is a quick way of tricking your brain that everything is all right. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Even if you don't happen to smile or you don't get it, try to practice a fake smile when you are tense. When there is tension around, when you're not able to handle any situation, try to practice. It's a muscle that you have to develop. It will trick your brain into thinking that everything is fine. Number 3 exercise. Hold your scalp like this. Hold your scalp. Okay, just hold it. Put your fingers on your head and try to move the scalp in clockwise direction 3 times and then anti-clockwise direction 3 times. Okay? Just hold the scalp. You should be able to feel it and don't move your fingers here and there. Just put them on one place, hold the scalp and then move it. Okay? Clockwise 3 times, anti-clockwise 3 times. 4th, make a fist, just a comfortable fist, and try to tap your head like this. Tap your face muscles like this. This you can do anywhere, right? Is it difficult?
Ma'am.
Does
No,
it
ma'am.
take lot of effort? No. You can move your face round your head, a bit on your neck,
Ma'am.
behind your neck. Okay? Where is
Ma'am.
this place called oblongata? Okay?
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yes,
ma'am.
Srinath.
Ma'am,
Yes, Srinath.
this basic yoga asanas, no ma'am, this yoga bending asanas and pranayam, and also this the meditation, mindfulness, you told, no ma'am. All these should be practiced in the age of 5 to 17, ma'am. From that age of 5 to 17, if their children practice, means they will become balanced and stable, ma'am. Now only I have discovered this thing, ma'am.
You're right, Srinath. You're right, Srinath. I'm glad that nowadays people are getting so much awareness about the benefits of all these practices. It's very important. In many times, people don't practice it in the, or parents don't inculcate it in the childhood of their kids. But when we grow up, we come to know about the importance of it. At any given point of time, any age, you can start practicing. You know, our yoga teacher, he is 60 years old. He is so dynamic, so supple and flexible.
Saint Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told, in small age only the mind will be controlled. In the larger ages and all, it will never be controlled.
Exactly.
So that time only they should practice these things, ma'am. So I failed, ma'am. I didn't practice, ma'am.
You're right, Srinath. That time it should be practiced, but it does not mean that we cannot change ourselves. When we grow, when we grow 30s, 40s, 50s, that time our habits are already developed. All this information, our practices, they go in our subconscious mind. And we a lot many times. That's why it's difficult, but it's not impossible. You can do it at any age, and you must practice it whenever this comes into your conscience. Right?
Ma'am, age is
excellent,
not
guys.
But
Excellent.
it will take a couple of years, no, ma'am. It will take 10, 12 years of span of time, ma'am.
See, don't overwhelm yourself by thinking that it takes so many years. No. I learned Kriya Yoga. I'm a Kriya Yoga practitioner. Listen, Srinath, I'm a Kriya Yoga practitioner. It took me 1 year to understand it deeply and practice it. And I got freedom from many other diseases as well. I had acute spondylitis. I had migraine. It all got cured. but with constant practice. You got to be true to yourself. And in order to be true to yourself, you got to show courage. Right? So we will move on. Take
Ma'am, nowadays
inspiration daily.
Lots of commitments, ma'am.
Srinath, Srinath, can we have a discussion later?
Srinath, can we will you can definitely get in touch with me later, so that because I have some more things to cover, I would not like you to miss them. Yes? Thank you so much for your participation. So what you were talking about is this. Unless and until something is in your awareness, you cannot show courage about it. Right? Whatever you want to show courage for, you got to be aware about that thing first. And once you develop courage, that will lead you to be resilient. What is resilience? A way of showing bounce back. That I can do it. Whatever has happened, it has happened. Maybe some sadness occurred, some grief occurred, maybe some physical trauma happened. But then you showed resilience. Before resilience, it was courage which made you show resilience. For every little thing, you have to show courage. Right, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
And I would like all of you to fill in the blanks. Identify what is that 2 or 3 things that you want to show courage about. And this is beautiful quote by Maya Angelou, that courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. And before I close this, I want to tell you a story about a doctor. Listen to this carefully, huh? This doctor was a Hungarian doctor. His name was Ignaz Semmelweis, and you can definitely find about him on internet. This doctor had a nursing home. There was a hospital and there was another hospital. He found out in his research that there was death happening in the hospital, and it was a frequent death happening. When he conducted research, he published that we could avoid these deaths because it's happening through infection. And we can avoid these deaths if all the physicians wash their hands frequently. And guys, I'm talking about around, this is 1845. This is 1845, around that time. He published that if physicians wash their hands, these deaths can be avoided. Do you know what happened? All the physicians and doctors in and around that vicinity, they made fun of him. They opposed his research. They told him, okay, now you will teach us that we are not, keeping up with the hygiene. They became resistant. And it frustrated him so much professionally that this doctor landed up in a hospital, a mental hospital, where eventually he died. As opposed to this, there is another story of 1700s time, early 1700s. There was a lady called Mary Montague. She was an English aristocrat. She had a young son, and she was known for her secular work. She used to travel widely. She traveled Germany and other nearby countries. What she noticed those days, smallpox was a very big thing, smallpox. As we all know, smallpox is a very widely spread disease. She found out that Germany was doing vaccination for this disease. And she wanted to bring this vaccination practice to England. When she tried to speak to the doctors, her family doctor, and then other doctors, they all opposed her a lot. She faced stiff opposition. Number one, because she was a lady. She was traveling to another country which was not so friendly with England that time, and doctors refused to believe her. They refused to follow this practice. But she persisted. You know what she did? She did something very intelligent. She followed the route of influence. She contacted the then Princess Caroline. The Princess Caroline had 2 young daughters. She convinced her that if you get your young daughters, vaccinated, all other people will get encouraged. And it happened. when Princess Caroline got her daughters vaccinated, all other doctors started following the practice. The nobility started following the practice, and it became widespread. That is the time when the concept of branding, having the brand ambassadors for any product or service, came up. Nowadays we have brand ambassadors for any product or service, right? We see it every now and then in every advertisement.
Yes, ma'am.
This is called influence. She applied emotional intelligence. She persisted. She had the courage to talk to everyone, convince them. Nobody was convinced, but she adopted the route of influence so that this could be adopted as a practice. So when you see both of these two stories, in first case, the man himself was broken, he died, and in the second case, she persisted and adopted influence. So I leave you with this thought that when we practice courage, in every form, we need to practice courage. And that is what will get us resilient. So here is a beautiful poem for all of you. I would like Dr. Bala Koteshwari to read this poem for all of you. Please order.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me patience with the changes that take time, appreciation of all that I have, tolerance of those with different struggles, and the strength to get up and try again, one day at a time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Balaji.
Thank you so much, Sulekha. It was a wonderful session. You have really brought real-time examples to the classroom scenario, and students were quite interactive. It is very, very impressive that all have opened up with their own examples and participative in the class. And it is really thought-provoking. You have brought a lot of inspirational stories from psychology to the science to research. Everything you have made as a package for the students. Thank you very much on behalf of Sanskriti School of Business Chairman, Mr.
So much.
Staff and students, I immensely thank you, Sulekha. It's such a wonderful
Thank you so much.
Students have been really privileged and learned a lot from this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Balaji. It is really a privilege for me to be here, and I would give a kudos to all the students who participated. And Srinath, yes, your questions are very pertinent. When we talk about relationships as well, we need to show endurance. And we need to cultivate endurance on an everyday basis so that there comes a time when people in the relationship start showing courage towards each other. And that is, I think, this is not an uncommon knowledge. Sometimes we say common sense is so uncommon. That is where the whole crux lies. If they learn this, they will definitely endure, and the relationships will be blossomed. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll conclude the session here. Sulekha, thank you.
Sure, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.